Hey guys, what's up? Matt Friedland here from the 360 Music System, and today I want to answer maybe a question that many of you may be having about how do I structure my practice time, or how am I more efficient in my practice time, make it more enjoyable, things of that nature. So I'm going to talk about some mindset things and things that hopefully will help you kind of like have more fun while you practice, have it be more effective and efficient, and just some things that might change your way of thinking about how you go about practicing. Whether you play guitar or any instrument for that matter as a musician. So if you like this video, if you get value from this, please like and share and subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. With no further ado, let's get into some of the topics here. So as a guitar teacher, as a music teacher basically, a lot of my students come to me in the beginning and they struggle with like, how do I structure my time? And they may be bouncing all over the place from thing to thing when they go to pick up their guitar and not sure what the most important thing should be that they're practicing or even how to structure their time. I know a lot of people refer to things on YouTube, and I appreciate you checking out this channel, and hopefully this gives you some insights, and maybe you're looking around on YouTube to find something that kind of gives you, something to practice, something to kind of move into. But a lot of times it might end up turning into you're just bouncing from video to video, and maybe you play a little bit of one concept off of a video and then maybe you don't do anything else with it later on, and it doesn't turn into anything. Or maybe you start by learning a song and the next day you move on to something else, and there's no consistency with anything that you're doing. It may seem kind of obvious that when you practice, generally consistency is good. But what tends to happen, I think, is the mindset of a pro musician, how they approach practicing versus somebody who's inexperienced, hasn't really realized this whole approach yet, which is when you're practicing, a lot of people, pro musicians, myself included, I tend to think of this like practicing is very similar to how an athlete practices. So when you think about an athlete, let's say it's a basketball player, and you think about what they do in their practice time, let's say they're shooting, foul shots. And you think about, well, how many foul shots do they normally shoot? It's like 300 foul shots sometimes, 300 to 500 foul shots, every day that they practice. And yeah, it's very repetitive, but it's something that they want to improve, and we know that repetitions improve our skills in a particular area. So let's say, for example, Steph Curry, guy shoots probably like 300 to 500 3-pointers, every day in practice. And that's why he's so good at making those 3-pointers. He doesn't change what he does all the time in his practice. A lot of times athletes will practice the same things routinely to either maintain their skills or enhance their skills. So I think music is very similar, that when we practice, we actually want to be playing things routinely as opposed to trying to learn new things every time that we go to play. So when I practice, I have kind of a structure and a routine and a regiment. And once I feel pretty solid with that, in terms of the repetitions and the practicing and things are coming together, then maybe I'll move into a different concept. But usually I'll spend a good week with something before I move into something else. So I think that's one thing that people kind of, when they're practicing, they're bouncing from too many different things and just kind of not focusing on one concept and really, getting the most out of that they can. And I think that goes a long way. So there's a couple points I want to make about that. Is when people practice and they don't have a structure or a game plan and they're bouncing from thing to thing, you're not getting a flow with your practice. There's a lot of stop and start happening. And that's to me, very taxing on our mental capabilities. So if we have to start and stop and rethink about what we're doing and then reanalyze or reprocess and go through all that, brain power, that tends to burn us out. And then we can't really get into a steady, consistent flow or groove. So think about an athlete, there's a rhythm, if you're shooting foul shots, right? You shoot the ball, right? Get the rhythm. it's a flow. You know what I mean? You're not like getting the ball and going, okay, what do I do with this thing? And then how's that work and all that stuff. Like you get the ball, think about it, you shoot the shot, right? You get it, you shoot the shot, right? It's repetition. And practicing guitar, I think, should be the same. Now, you definitely want to be using a drum track or some kind of rhythm element to it, metronome ideally. But what I mean is like, even simply practicing scales. And a lot of people say, I get bored with the repetition. Well, once you get into the zone with the repetition and it's easy to play, you got to get your mechanics together. You know what I mean? You got to get your hands and your picking hand and all that in sync and your ear exposed to the notes so that when you go to play what's in your head, you have the facility to execute it. So you have to do repetitions. So to give you an example of how to do these repetitions and get into that zone where things are effortlessly moving along, you're like kind of in a very positive state of mind, you're not overthinking, and a lot of good things are happening in terms of your development. The way that you want to structure that is you want to use a click, get a steady beat going. I have a click on 2 and 4 here. And it might be running through a major scale, let's say in a 5-note grouping. So what I was playing in the intro was a tune called There Will Never Be Another You, an old jazz standard. It's in the key of E flat major. So if I improvise over that, I need to know at least an E flat major scale. Okay, so I have a context. I say, okay, well, I'm going to play this tune and it's in the key of E flat, so I need to know what I need to play to make that work or add to that element. So I'll take an E flat major scale, wherever you want to play it. And then I'll start running like maybe 5-note fragments just to get the hands warmed up, just to get some repetitions and get into that zone. So simply like it might just be up and down. Swing it. I'll probably play that about 16 times and I'll move it on to the next note of the scale. Next note of the scale. And so on. So as I'm practicing, I'm doing about probably 12 to 16 repetitions per series of notes and moving it through the scale on each note so I can build up my technique, dexterity, my time, using the metronome, ear training so I can hear what it sounds like. And it's all relatively simple, and I've practiced these things a million times, and I keep going back to them because I'm trying to enhance my skills or maintain my skills. So keep in mind that if you're trying to learn something new every time you go to practice, then that's a lot of stop and start. You're going to have a hard time getting a flow going and really make progress. And really the element of practicing should be, in my opinion, taking one thing and mastering it and playing the same things over and over again and getting really good at it versus, moving on to different things too much and having like kind of the shiny ball kind of syndrome kind of thing. And as I do that, as I get comfortable with that, I'm getting into a flow. I'm very relaxed. It's very meditative for me to do that. And that's why I enjoy practicing. And I think that's one thing that'll make you enjoy practicing more is once you get into that flow, get into that meditative state, everything goes away. All the chaos in life just kind of, it just goes away. And you're just in the zone and you're playing and you're like, okay, I'm doing this. And maybe you get a new idea, a different way to play it. And then you restructure it and you just keep playing and keep moving on. So that's the exercise phase. I'm like thinking I'm like a basketball player, like just shoot the foul shot, shoot the foul shot. Okay, let's move over to the corner. Let's shoot the 3-pointer, whatever. Just keep doing those repetitions and getting a high level of success. And then once you get all that structured and everything, all that set up and you're in that zone, you should feel a lot more comfortable and productive, and being consistent with that will lead you to those things. Now, the next thing is like an athlete, they're practicing that skill, whether it's shooting or maybe it's dribbling. I'm just using a basketball player as an example. It could be any sport. And the thing is, the skill that they're working on is the skill that they're trying to improve on so that it enhances their ability to play in the game more efficiently so they can win the game or play better. Win the game ultimately. So in music, when we play in the game, that's playing the music. It's playing the song. It's playing with other people, generally. That's how I think about it. So I'm practicing this major scale, E flat major, could be a bunch of other things, so that I can use that if I'm playing the song There Will Never Be Another You. So then once I practice in a variety of different ways, then I want to take that to the song. So I'll turn on the click, and then maybe start improvising over the changes. Right, so now I'm going through the tune, and all these things that I'm playing, I've practiced over and over again, so I can use this vocabulary in the context of the song, over the chord changes, and just enhance my improvisational abilities. And that's what I think a big element of playing music is too, is the ability to improvise. And when you play a sport, if you're playing basketball, I mean, you have structured plays and stuff like that, but a lot of what happens on the court is improvised. You have to react to players, and people are moving in different places, and you just have to have the skills to be able to think quick and execute and then react. And I think music is like that as well. So in order for that to happen, you need your technique and you need your facility. So if you have an idea, you can execute. And the only way to do that is to get repetitions in time and structure that. Because when you go to play, and if you keep forgetting parts of a song, or you're struggling to make your improvisation kind of flow and be smooth, it's likely because you haven't played things in a repetitive way where all that's ingrained in your muscle memory and it's starting to naturally flow. So hope this helped out, guys, in terms of like maybe thinking about how to practice and doing things in repetition, and just knowing that that'll pay off for the actual playing. So you go into like exercise mode or structured mode with whatever that might be. There's a million things that you can do, but keep it consistent, as opposed to like trying to do new things or different things all the time. The best players focus on the same kind of concepts and routines regularly and gradually add new information or new content as they've mastered things, not going after new things all the time just to get interest. The interest actually comes from the meditative state of, repeating a phrase over and over again and moving it to different places and finding ways to be creative in repetitive ways. Then you take it to the game or the simulated experience of playing the song or the tune or whatever that vehicle might be. And then ultimately, I'm looking to play this with other people. That's the final step. I'm trying to take this with other people, all those concepts that I've been practicing. And so that's an enjoyable experience for me and the other people and or the audience. I feel good about it. And then I also want to record that. If I'm playing with other people, I want to record what's going on. And or if I'm practicing and playing the tune, I want to record so I can listen and assess what's good, what do I like, and what do I need to improve. And once I know those things, then I can go back to practice, improve, and add to the good things back in the playing mode. And it's this constant cycle, back and forth of, structured practice, execution, creativity, playing, vehicle, record, and then repeat and rinse, basically. The other thing is, if it's improvisational, I'll say this, is that as you're listening to yourself, try and keep a positive mindset. Sometimes it's really hard when we listen to ourselves and we may not like how we feel about what we're hearing, but it's important to learn from yourself. And the more that you continue this process, you will improve and you will get better. So you just need to be patient with the process. It doesn't happen overnight, and there's no quick fix. No matter what you might be told, it's like that it's easy. You don't need to know anything to be able to play music or any of that kind of stuff. I mean, it does require the time and effort, but you just have to be patient and enjoy the journey along the way, and good things will happen, and just keep a positive mindset through it all. And then the next thing you know, these transformations will come. They will come over time. It's a guarantee if you follow this method. So guys, I hope that this really helped you guys today. If you got value from this, please like the page, share, subscribe, and hit the like button and all that good stuff. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks a lot.